Okay, so let's dive into a truly classic American story. It's about a man from Salem who decides just for one night to take a walk on the dark side to follow what he calls an evil purpose. And what he finds out there in the woods, well, it completely shatters his world. And honestly, it makes you question everything you think you know about good and evil. Right from the jump, the story just hits you with this feeling of dread. His young wife is begging him not to go, talking about bad dreams and feelings she can't shake. You know, it's an immediate red flag. You can just feel that something is seriously wrong here. And this is the guy she's pleading with, young Goodman Brown. He's a newlywed, lives in Salem Village, a place that's all about piety and religion, right? But even with his wife begging him to stay, he's dead set on this journey. An errand, he himself admits, is for an evil purpose. I mean, what could possibly be so important that he'd leave his brand new wife for that? All right, so let's talk about his wife. Her name is Faith, and yeah, that is not a coincidence. She's described as pretty and innocent. But the thing you've got to remember is her pink ribbons. These ribbons are a huge symbol in the story. They stand for her purity, for Brown's own religious faith, basically for everything good he's hoping to come back to after his one night of messing with darkness. So, Goodman Brown heads into this super creepy, deep, dark forest, the kind of place that feels like anything could be lurking just out of sight. He's barely started down this gloomy path, literally just thinking about the devil, and boom, a figure just appears almost out of thin air, like he was expected. And this traveler he meets is, well, he's interesting. He's an older guy, about 50, dressed respectably. But what's really weird is that he looks a lot like Goodman Brown. It's kind of spooky, like they could be father and son. But here's the kicker. The detail that tells you something is way off. His walking stick looks like a living, writhing black snake. Yeah, that's a huge red flag. So Brown, he gets nervous and tries to back out. He's like, my family, we're all good, honest churchgoers. But the traveler just kind of laughs it off. He calmly says, "Oh, I knew your family really well. I was great friends with your father and your grandfather. Helped them out with some things." And just like that, Brown's whole identity, this idea of his pure, pious family, it starts to crack. And that's just the beginning. The assault on everything Brown believes in is just getting started. Because it's not just his family history that's about to be torn apart. Oh no. Soon he's going to find out that the most respected people in his village, the absolute pillars of his community, they've all got their own secrets too. So, as they're walking, Brown suddenly spots a familiar figure up ahead. It's a woman he knows really well, someone he deeply respects, a person he sees as a moral compass. And he is so shocked to see her out here that he literally dives into the woods to hide before she can see him with his shady new friend. And this woman, it's Goody Cloyes. To Goodman Brown, she is the absolute picture of Christian goodness. This is the woman who taught him his prayers when he was a kid. She's one of his spiritual advisors right up there with the minister. So, you have to ask, what in the world is a woman like that doing deep in the forest all alone after dark? Well, from his hiding spot, Brown gets his answer. And it is a shocker. Goody Cloyes doesn't just recognize the traveler. She calls him your worship. Turns out she's a witch. She knows the devil. And she's actually complaining to him that she had to walk because someone stole her broomstick. For Brown, hearing this, it's just completely devastating. So you can see the whole conflict laid out right here. The people Brown looked up to his entire life, the moral center of his world. They're being exposed one after another. His teacher is a witch. And as we're about to hear, the most holy men in town are no better. His whole worldview is just crumbling before his eyes. Even after the shock of seeing Goody Cloyes, Brown decides he's had enough. He sits down and says, "Nope, I'm turning back. I'm keeping my faith. But just as he's congratulating himself on his resolve, he hears it, the sound of horses and voices coming down the path. So he hides again. And even though it's too dark to see, he knows those voices instantly. There's no doubt it's the minister of his own church and Deacon Gookin, like the two holiest men in all of Salem. And what are they talking about? How excited they are for the evil meeting tonight. And some young woman who's supposed to join them. Brown is so horrified he's left literally clinging to a tree. So he's seen his teacher and heard his minister heading to what sounds like a satanic ritual, but he makes one last desperate stand. He looks up at the sky and basically says, "As long as heaven is up there and my wife Faith is down on earth, I can resist this." But then something happens that just shatters that final bit of hope. A dark cloud suddenly just rushes over the sky, blocking out the stars. And from inside that cloud, Brown hears voices. The voices of everyone in his town, the good people and the bad. But then among all the noise, he hears one sound very clearly. A young woman's voice crying out in grief, and his heart just stops. It's a moment of pure terror. He screams his wife's name, Faith, into the forest, and the only answer he gets is the woods echoing her name right back at him, almost like it's mocking him. He is fearing the absolute worst, and then his fear is confirmed. Floating gently down from that dark, evil cloud, a single pink ribbon gets caught on a tree branch right in front of him, that one unmistakable symbol of his wife's innocence and purity, and it just came from that horrible cloud. You see, that ribbon isn't just a ribbon. To Brown, it's the death of his faith. Faith in his wife, faith in humanity, faith in God. It's all gone. In that one moment, something inside him just snaps. He decides that good is just a lie, and he completely gives himself over to the darkness, laughing like a madman and running as fast as he can towards the evil he tried so hard to escape. Now, he's just completely unhinged. Driven by despair, Brown becomes the scariest thing in the woods. He's flying through the trees, yelling and laughing, drawn by the strange red light and the sound of a creepy hymn right into the heart of the ceremony. And when he gets to the clearing, it is a truly hellish sight. There's a whole congregation there, and it's basically a who's who of Salem. The most respected church deacons, the holy minister, his old teacher, saints and sinners, all standing together. And then he sees her, a woman in a veil, being led to the front. It's Faith. Then this dark figure, who looks like a twisted version of a priest, stands up and gives this horrifying sermon. He tells Brown and Faith that every single person they ever looked up to is secretly corrupt. He says that evil is the true nature of all humankind, and their only happiness is to embrace it. It's a welcome to the communion of your race. In one final desperate act, Brown yells at Faith to look up to heaven and resist the devil, and just like that, everything disappears. He's suddenly all alone in the quiet forest. But it doesn't matter if it was real or not. The experience has completely and irreparably broken him. And the toll of that one night is absolute. The man who went into the woods was hopeful, trusting, and in love. The man who comes back is just a shell. He sees evil everywhere. He pulls away from his wife's kiss. He scowls during prayers. He just lives out the rest of his days as this sad, grim, miserable man. And that leaves us with the story's big, haunting question at the end. Was it all just a dream? A terrible nightmare he had while sleeping in the forest? Or did he really see the secret hidden sin at the heart of his community? But maybe the bigger question is this. If the result is a life totally destroyed by doubt and despair, does it even matter if it was real?